Hello, welcome or welcome back. Today I am doing another Neville Says because he has so much to say and it's so wonderful. So today the quote is on how life is a romantic adventure, and I want to talk a little bit more about that because that is just sounds so yummy. So stick around. My name is Hedley Dorenzi. I am a qualified life coach. I forgot there for a second what I was. And author. I am also super passionate about the amazing teachings of the Law of Assumption as originally taught by the wonderful Neville Goddard. It is the stories that we tell that create our life. So if you want to change your life, then you have to change the story. And if you want to create the most amazing life, then you need to know how to tell the most amazing stories. And thanks to the Law of Assumption, we can now do that. And I am telling myself better stories as a result of finding these teachings, and I want to help you to do the same. If you would like further support with that, I am available for one-to-one coaching and also email coaching. You'll find those details in the box below. Or if you just want to stay connected, I am on Instagram under Hedley Dorenzi and my coaching page, Remember You Are the One. Those details are below as well. Okay, let's get into it. So today I am doing another Neville Says where I take a quote from one of Neville's books and then share my interpretation of it and how you can apply it to your life. And today's quote is from Neville's book, The Law and the Promise, which is in the Complete Reader. And the quote is, "Life is a romantic adventure. To live creatively, imagining novel solutions to ever more complex problems is far nobler than to restrain or kill out desire. All that is desired can be imagined into existence." So, I just loved that sentence. Life is a romantic adventure. I am a romantic at heart. I always have been a romantic at heart, and what's happened over the years is that part of myself got pushed away kind of into the corner because in this world, it's kind of, we're taught to be more realistic and more pragmatic, and that's just not the way things are. And, you're too much of a daydreamer and this and that, and all those negative messages that we get in terms of love and having what it is that we want and manifestations. We really, certainly for me, my experience was that I learned that I was too much of an idealist and a romantic, and that wasn't the way the world works. That's why I just absolutely love these teachings, because since finding the Law of Assumption, I feel like I have come home to myself, where the way I am naturally and have always been, I feel as though these teachings give me permission to be all of that and even more. And that these teachings give credibility to, and just, I guess, a structure to the way I have actually always lived my life and believed that things of the way things were and are. And so, and being a writer and a storyteller and somebody who probably spends more time in their imagination anyway, I feel as though these teachings have really given validity to who I am and how I see the world and how I approach life. So I'm incredibly grateful to these teachings, and that is just why I want to share them, because there is so much goodness in them. They really are the key to everything, and life is a romantic adventure. Neville talks about how this world and the world that we're experiencing is just a play that we are witnessing on the screens of our mind, and nothing is set in stone. So whatever we're seeing in reality, it's not set in stone, whether it's in the past or the future. We can create it or we can recreate it using these amazing teachings and technologies with the Law of Assumption. We want to reconnect with that idea that life is a romantic adventure, and we are here in these beautiful physical bodies to experience this romantic adventure and to have the experiences of what it is that we desire. And so many times we talk ourselves out of what it is that we want because we don't believe that we are the creators of our reality, and we don't believe that we can have it. Especially when it comes to romantic relationships, it is really possible to have everything that you want and more. It is a case of simply the stories that we're telling ourselves when it comes to first of all, ourselves in terms of our self-concept, but then also the stories that we're telling about others and the gender that we're interested in, and in particular our romantic partner, that specific person who is either in our life or not in our life. If we want to really experience life as a romantic adventure, which sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Then we have to be telling stories that match up with that consciousness of life being in a romantic adventure. That's what he's saying here, is to live creatively. Imagining novel solutions to ever more complex problems is far nobler than to restrain ourselves or kill it out, what it is that we desire. So if you want that amazing relationship or that amount of money or that new home or that new job, to want that and to know that you can have that is far nobler than to kill it out with the conditions that we put on top of it because we don't believe that we can have it. It says here, all that is desired can be imagined into existence. And that is all we have to do. If we can imagine it, that's all we need to do. That's our only job, because the only influence, the only control we have is over our own consciousness. That's it. We actually don't have control over reality. We only have control over our consciousness, knowing that whatever we focus our consciousness on will get outpictured in our reality. It'll get reflected back in our 3D, but we don't actually have control over that. That's probably where I see some people getting a little bit stuck, or they kind of struggle with these teachings, is they're using it to manipulate reality or to get an outcome in their reality. That is actually not what this is about. What we're doing is changing consciousness about whatever it is that we want to experience. So if it is a relationship, so let's say you're single and you want to be in a relationship and you want to be in a loving relationship, and let's say you've had, a little bit like me, you've had a pattern of a particular type of relationship based on a negative story that's been running, and you want a kind of relationship that you've never experienced before because you've simply never had that show. You've never known what that story is because it's never shown up. That's where you have to use your imagination to create in your imagination what it is that you want to experience in your reality and align yourself with that consciousness. And if you haven't experienced something in your reality before, that's where you have to use your imagination. You cannot look outside of yourself for it because you've never experienced it before. Of course, in fact, I'll backtrack on that, because you can, in terms of looking for examples, you can certainly use reality to inform what it is that you want, knowing, and that's why it's like we're in like one big shopping center. You can go out into reality and go, okay, what do I want? And you're like, okay, not that. Oh, that looks good. And then you can use that and then go into your imagination and put yourself into that situation that you've just observed in your reality. But the trick with this is you have to be in the scene. You can't be witnessing yourself in the scene or in the experience that you want to have. You have to be in it in first person, as if you're really living it in reality, but you're actually in your imagination. And the way I do this is I will do this every night before I go to sleep. I'll do it throughout the day as well, but really because the moment before you fall asleep is a really powerful moment when you're just in the state between wake and sleep. It's a really powerful time. So what I will do is, depending on what I'm wanting to bring into my consciousness or the new story that I'm wanting to tell, before I go to bed, I will just write it out as a scene, and it doesn't have to be too long. I'll just write a quick scene and I'll get a sense of how that scene plays out, and then I'll close my eyes and I will just play the scene out in my mind. So I'm seeing it in my mind's eye. And I'll just play it out a few times until it becomes kind of natural. So I'm getting a sense of how I'm rehearsing it, getting a sense of how it plays out. And then once I feel I've got it, I will lie down and just keep playing it out and drift off into sleep. And that is how I go to sleep every night. And that is something that you can do from tonight onwards. And I would suggest doing it every night with whatever it is that you want to experience, and really come into that belief and that awareness and that knowledge that life is meant to be a romantic adventure. You are the producer, the author, the director, and the star of your movie. So make it into this romantic adventure where you get everything that you want and more, and you have the happy endings to everything that you could possibly desire. And to know that if you have a desire, that is all you need to know that it is possible to experience in your 3D. But if you haven't experienced it before, that's where you need to engage the power of your imagination using the many of the techniques that are available, whether it's visualizing, scripting, playing out inner conversations, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. As long as you can align your consciousness to the experience of what it is that you want to have and be in that experience in your imagination and keep playing it out until it becomes more natural than not having it in your reality. Because imagined reality is the one and only reality, and what we persist with in our imagination and we can hold in consciousness, that will get reflected back in our 3D reality. That's how this works. It's amazing. So enjoy your romantic adventure. Imagine all of your desires into being. Use your imagination to work for you. And that's pretty much all I wanted to share. So thank you for listening. If you found this useful, please feel free to share with family and friends. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would love to have you, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks. Bye.